It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to jump on that gigantic, sharp, interactive board. I want to go through Riso's first quarter numbers. You know, Riso has a story here for our industry. It's a story about disrupting yourself. It's a story about disrupting yourself based on your competencies and doing things better than you did in the past. It's a story about looking where the market's going and getting there before your competitors. You know, it was around the 2015 time frame that Riso decided that they had to shake things up. They decided that they didn't want to be recognized as their granddad's duplicator company. And they got into the Inkjet Technology business. And what a great decision that was. Today, Riso is delivering Inkjet Technology production equipment that is changing the game. That's delivering exceptional experiences to customers that they couldn't have got with their older technologies. It's also bringing exceptional experiences to their old customers. Riso is delivering the future to the present. Riso decided to disrupt themselves back in that 2015 time frame based on their competencies. I think about some other major players in our industry. Konica Minolta and Riso are great examples, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a story for the industry to pay attention to. You know, 15 years ago, Konica Minolta and Riso decided they had to disrupt themselves. And what did they do? They got into IT services. They've spent hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars getting into IT services. What if both Konica Minolta and Riso decided 15 years ago to get into Inkjet Technologies? Where would they be today? How much more profitable would they be? Because the decision to get into IT services, the decision to deliver things that are way past the competencies of a manufacturer, have proven to be, well, pretty miserable when you look at their operating profit and their profitability. And I know if you're working at Konica Minolta and Riso, you're probably screaming at the screen right now, Ray, I cannot believe you're comparing Riso to Riso and Konica Minolta. My friends at Riso and Konica Minolta, there is no comparison. Riso actually makes money. Their top line revenue for the quarter was $134.4 million. They had an operating profit of $13.5 million or 10%. Ladies and gentlemen, Riso's a disciplined company. And we all know it's not about what you have at the top line. It's about what you carry to the bottom line. You can have all the revenue you want, but if you don't make any money in it, it's useless. What would have happened if those two major OEMs would have decided to focus on something around their competencies? What would they be delivering to the marketplace regarding equipment and print today? Folks, our industry really needs to think hard about this. Riso made the bet. 2015 time frame, they've had 57% growth in that space. Congratulations. I wanted to show this slide here because I think this is relevant to our industry. Our industry knows it's got to disrupt itself. It's got to leave its comfort zone and go to where the magic happens. Unfortunately, it decides it's going to disrupt itself, and then it allows the old way to commandeer the navigational equipment on the new journey toward relevance. And anytime they do this, you know what happens? Well, the old way, they get insecure as they make that journey. They might step out of the comfort zone, but then they get really insecure. And you know what they do? Well, I'll tell you what they do. They turn around and they run to what they're comfortable in. When you get too far outside of your competencies, you're going to run back to what you're comfortable with. It's human nature. And our industry has not figured this out yet. And look at what we've done in our industry with some of the diversifications. We went way, way far outside our competencies. And then we started running back to what we're comfortable with. What if Riso and Konica Minolta decided to get into Inkjet Technologies 15 years ago instead of IT services? Where would they be? That journey still would have been painful. But I seriously doubt if the leadership would have kept turning around and running back to what they were comfortable with. I want to look at some numbers. I want to focus on just a couple of numbers here. But in 2019, Riso had reoccurring income, which represented 4.3% of their revenue. And today, their recurring income is 8.4% of their revenue. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a big deal because the revenue actually declined. And I'm using constant currency Forex with this numbers. But at the end of the day, their revenue actually declined, but they're getting more recurring revenue and they're getting more operating profit. You know, I got to ask Riso a question. Could it be possible that Inkjet Technology is actually profitable? Wow. You mean if these other OEMs would have decided to get into Inkjet 15 years ago, they'd be more profitable today? Is that what you're telling us, Riso? Because that's what the numbers are showing us. Rico, think about it. I know you're saying there's no comparison. There isn't a comparison because Riso makes money. In the Rico Digital Services business unit, where they have office printing and office services, they did a combined revenue for one quarter of $3.1 billion, and they had an operating profit of $5.5 million, or 0.18%. Think about this. Our friends at Riso did $135 million with an operating profit of $13.5 million. Against Rico's $5.5 million. What would have happened if 15 years ago Rico and Konica Minolta would have got into the inkjet space? Would have got into something closer to their competencies? Where would they be today? I did this a while back. I got to show it again. I took the operating profit of all the major players over 5 years, averaged it out. Riso's average over the 5 years from 2019 through 2023 was 4.8%. Our friends over at Konica Minolta, their average, same period of time, was minus 10.6%. It was just a big old money pit of losing money year after year after year. Look at all the losses that Konica had. Our friends at Rico, their average for those 5 years was 1.7% operating profit. I got to ask the question again. What would have happened if Rico and Konica Minolta would have got into Inkjet Technologies 15 years ago instead of IT services? Here's something really cool. Riso's cash ratio. If you take their current liabilities and you take their cash on hand, Riso has $1.02 in cash for every dollar of current liabilities. The only one that's even close to them is our friends over there at Kyocera. They're 91 cents for every dollar. Congratulations, Riso. It's not about how much money you got at the top line. It's about how much money you actually make. Riso's asset to equity share. 34.4% of Riso's assets are encumbered some way. Do I need to remind everybody of the asset to equity ratio of Konica Minolta and Rico? Do I need to remind everybody that when you're heading out on a diversification strategy, you got to make sure that you stick close to your competencies. And if you're going to veer off your competencies, you better damn sure make sure that you got navigators that aren't coming from the old way. Because if they are, as soon as they get a little bit insecure, they're going to turn around and they're going to run back to their comfort zone. Congratulations, Riso, for getting out of your comfort zone, for creating exceptional inkjet technology. Because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.